remember this, you got one last week. It's a little brochure that says Creating to Connect. Everybody got one? Everyone has one in the past? Okay, somewhere along the line. Okay, Creating to Connect. What we are proposing as a leadership team, we've been praying and struggling to understand what are the next steps that God wants for Lincoln Glen Church. Now, I know there are probably 100 different things that we could do, but together, combined, we are planning to do at least a couple things. And we thought, what has God done with our church recently that we're aware of that we can kind of say, that's where God's working, we want to join Him, and we want to get involved in that ministry. Well, so we've been asking ourselves these questions, okay? What can we do to enhance our ability to serve and connect with people who are already using Lincoln Glen facility but may not have a significant relationship with a church family yet? Lauren was over here last night, and he once again got to see there are about between 300 and 400 people every Saturday night that use our facility, and a lot of them don't have a connection with a church family. And yet they're here on our campus all the time. We have a preschool just right out these doors here, right? And they meet here almost daily during the week. But we're asking ourselves, how can we connect with these people that live in our neighborhood or frequent our facility, which includes people who rent this space for basketball and volleyball, and yes, and we even had a little soccer team rent our facility last year. They basically were, I think, like 4 and 5-year-old little girls, you know, they were running around, and they were inside when it was inclement weather, but they're out on our green space when it wasn't. And we wonder, how can we connect with people that God has brought into our sphere of relationship, but we haven't really connected with them yet? 2 Corinthians 10:15 says, our hope is that as your faith continues to grow, our sphere of activity among you will greatly expand. I mean, any church you go to hopes that they will what? That they will expand. Not because they want to be a big church, but because they will just want to reach more people with the message of the kingdom of God. And so we've been thinking about a project now for about the last, about 9 months with our leadership team. And what we've been doing is we believe that God has given us a unique opportunity to influence the lives of those who are within our sphere of influence. And many people, as I said, are frequenting our campus more and more, and it's just amazing how many people are on campus that we could connect with if we have a mind to. So, why are we initiating this project called Creating to Connect? We use that term very specifically because we are creating new spaces, new venues, new opportunities to connect with these people. It's not that we are just renovating our facility. We're renovating some portions of our facility because it's long overdue, yes. But we're also trying to create new spaces that might give people the understanding, the idea that we care about them and we want to connect with them. As a matter of fact, it becomes a place, a venue, where we can actually, in a casual manner, get to know them as new friends. That's the idea. And we also want to do this. One of the other critical components of church growth, as I understand it, is just physical resources of people to lead the groups that we have. And we saw a significant increase in our youth ministry last year when we were able to have some interns in our youth ministry program. Our dream is multifaceted. It is that we want to connect with people, but we feel that in order to do that, we need to expand our base of resources. And along with that, we know that as that ministry expands, we need to expand our leadership base. Not just here at Lincoln Glen Church, but we believe strongly in training the next generation of leaders, church leaders, for ministry. And so what we want to do is we want to start an internship program that will be a year-round program, not just a summertime program, to train people not just in youth ministry, but in all aspects and all areas of ministry. I was just down, I'm on the leadership board for Pacific District Conference in developing leadership. That's the name of our board, Leadership Development Board. And I was privileged to go down to Fresno. We had 25 summer interns that are going to be in churches throughout our entire district. And we spent a day training these young interns. And I got to pray with some and talk with others. And it was just exciting to see God is still calling people into ministry. The church we met at for training has a year-round training program, just like the one that we're proposing. And it's so wonderful to see that these kids, they come into the program, and by the time they're done with their year of internship, they understand more clearly how they're gifted, what area of ministry they want to invest their lives in, and they're on to the ministry, you know. Many of them have already secured placement in places of ministry in churches in and out our district. So here's the deal. We believe this project is going to create new opportunities to use our gifts of service to connect meaningfully with those who need Jesus. I can't emphasize this enough. We are not trying to just refurbish our facility or to create some new fun things for us. We're not trying to create a space just for other people. What we're trying to do is to create a space that gives us the opportunity to show people, just like I said in the sermon this morning, to show people that we love them. And that means that we are there to serve them by giving them the gifts that we are basically creating. We're showing them we love you, we care about you, we're thinking about you, and we need to take time to connect with them. So let's walk through some of these ideas. I already mentioned developing a year-round internship program. I believe that there are students and young people in our church that have the potential to be serving God in this capacity. There are also people around the San Jose area and in our colleges. Some of the interns that they had down in Fresno were people from Tabor College and Fresno Pacific College. And I think that we have an opportunity to be able to train people in ministry. The second one is to create a space to connect with new friends in the lobby of our worship center. That language that got all messed up in the slide, you can tell, right? I want to make something clear. This is not a full-blown Starbucks we're talking about, okay? We're not starting a coffee shop. This is not a cafe. What it is, it's a venue that allows us to be able to provide maybe a cup of coffee or some tea or maybe a soda pop to somebody, some places where we can sit and dialogue and talk, and also a venue where we could also have some musicians play. We've already been talking to the people at Second Traditions, and they are so excited to be able to have a place. They show up an hour early for their event on Saturday, and they stand around and do nothing, talk, you know. But to have a place to say, hey, come in and have a cup of coffee, sit down, and us, hopefully many of us will be there to serve them, and not just to serve them, but to talk with them. I have this grand vision that someday, maybe down the road a little bit, that we could actually start a Saturday night worship service prior to their event that starts at 8 o'clock. That would involve many of our congregation, maybe some other people in the community, but also many of those people who are not yet connected with a church family that could come over there, get to know us, get to meet us, understand us a little bit better, and enjoy themselves and have a venue where they might be connected with Christ. There's also going to be an opportunity to put video feed in there, a video feed of our live services, but also maybe a rebroadcast of our worship service on Sunday. Also, we can use those video screens to be able to project testimonies of the ones that you've seen up here on our screens already. God is at work. He's doing some amazing things in the lives of people at Lincoln Glen Church, and we just need to have a venue to be able to tell people about that. So that's what that venue is about. It's not going to be open 7 days a week. It's going to be open during times when there are people on our campus. We understand that people are going to be using our facility. Great. We want to be there to serve them. We want to be there to connect with them. And so we'll pick those times, and hopefully that will expand. That ministry will expand. We're also talking about developing our lawn area to provide more shade trees, a few picnic tables, and a walking path. Many of you have looked at that schematic there. We invited a person to come and kind of give us an idea. What could that look like? We've been talking with the Manor And they're excited about the fact that there are people that are right here that live almost on our campus, right? And they would love to have a place to be able to meander around. We're going to put some low-impact exercise equipment in about 6 spaces around that area. If you've heard of a park course, it's like these poles, you just kind of like, bend or stretch or whatever. But it's very low-impact kind of stuff that people can use if they like. If not, they can just walk. There'll be benches around there, a place to just sit and maybe listen to God's voice. But we also have this idea that at each station we want to put Bible verses or maybe a theme that's going on in our church at the time. So when people go around and they use that walking track, they'll be able to connect with God in a meaningful way. We hope that we, as a congregation, would use that space too. Maybe you see it, there's a time when a lot of people are using that and you want to use that as your time to come and just reflect, exercise a little bit, and get to know a few people. It's amazing that almost daily, 5 days a week during the weekdays, moms will be seen out on our lawn. They've spread out a blanket and they've got kids running all over the place there. And it's not unusual to see 20 to 30 people out there on our lawn. Well, we need to be out there with them. You see, the idea is we're creating a space to be able to connect with people in a meaningful way so they get to know us. We're also, as part of this project, needing to renovate the gym and cafe worship venue flooring. If you look down, this floor has been, it's been used, right? It's been quite a few years since it's been renovated. And so we have this dream to be able to renovate this. It's going to cost some money. The foyer needs to be renovated. What we want to project to our community, and it's already happening. I've had people come into the office and people that have even just been here off the street say, things are looking pretty good. We can tell that there's some renewed activity, some pride you're taking in your facility. We want people who come to Lincoln Glen Church or even just walk by it, we want them to say, those people, they take care of their stuff. It's contemporary. It's good. And I think how we take care of our facility says something about us as well. But we have this idea that we want to renovate the gym floor here. It's probably the most used space on our campus, and that's going to cost a little bit of money. And then Lauren alluded to another thing, and that is that we had to take out a loan because we had some serious plumbing issues. We had some concrete that was heaving, things like that. We had some roof issues in this area over here, and we had to get that fixed. And so we were very privileged to take out a loan with our MB Foundation. Now, what's interesting is any interest that we pay back for that loan actually goes to help other churches with building projects, just like we had to have some help. And we're already paying that back, but that loan had a ceiling of $100,000. We didn't borrow the entire $100,000, but we're already paying some of that back, and it's on, I think, a 10-year or 10 or 15-year schedule. But we'd like to get that done, all right? We'd just like to get that done. So we want to eliminate any kind of debt that would encumber our future. And that's pretty much it. Now, the question is this, right? The question is, what are we going to do to get this done? Well, it takes money. It takes money. And your pledges, we want to invite you to participate with us. Now, you just heard that we need to step it up in terms of our regular giving. That's happening. Our online giving was a very good thing, especially for those that are in the second worship service. They go, yeah, I get into that. Some of the younger generation uses that. And we're seeing more money come in. We've had a bump this year of 7 to 8% that's coming in. That's great. That's awesome. We anticipate more people coming to the church. We anticipate God moving in our hearts. And we don't want you to donate anything to this project that we're proposing that's going to cut into your regular giving. All right? That's not the point, is to take from regular giving and give it to a special project. We have to maintain and even increase our regular giving. But we also feel that God is calling us to this vision to be able to have a greater opportunity to connect with more people who need Jesus and don't presently have a church family. And so there are pledge cards like this, these green cards. I don't know if you got one when you came in. If you didn't get one yet, you can get one on the back on the way out. And in 2 weeks' time, we're going to ask you to, over the next 2 weeks, to pray seriously, to talk with your family. Think outside the box. Think of different ways that you might be able to come up with some funds to be able to support this vision. People have already come to me with a lot of different ideas. Everything from a one-time donation to pledging monthly. Some people saying, well, can I give a gift of stock? Absolutely. Can I give the money that I would normally spend on my summer vacation or something like that? Or, hey, what if I, swore off coffee for a year, right? And took my coffee money and gave that instead. I see you going like that's going to happen in a million years. Right, okay. I know I'll swear off broccoli for a year. Of course, I don't spend a whole lot on broccoli, so that's not going to help much, right? But there are all kinds of things. Some people said, well, I'm going to have a garage sale. I'm going to invite my neighborhood. We're going to do a neighborhood garage sale, and I'm going to ask them if all the proceeds I can give to my church project. Cool idea, right? I mean, there are all kinds of ideas. We need to come up with 50 ways to fund the campaign. And I think over the next 2 weeks, we're going to come up with some different ideas. And if you've got some neat ideas, share them with each other, right? Maybe some of you have a business and you'd like to be able to donate from your business. That's great. Some of you are thinking about what do I want to do with some of the funds that I have in retirement or whatever. And I know when I'm going to pass away, I'm going to do something significant with that money. Not just help my family, but maybe help towards a mission project or something like that. Well, you can actually put that in your will. And that would not just help maybe this project. I'm not hoping that you die soon, right? But I want you to think seriously that you need to maybe consider continuing to support the church even after you're gone, right? That's a good way to do that. I know lots of my friends have written their church into their will. So I want to encourage you guys to think seriously about what you can give. Now, I want you to know that as a leadership team, we took this seriously. We said we can't propose something like this unless we, as your leaders, are first up. And so we covenanted as a leadership team that we all would give sacrificially to make this happen. And on a couple of weeks from now, you're going to find out that there has been already a significant amount of money pledged to this by your leaders because they believe in what's going on. And I know that we are just the very front end of this. But the other thing I want to tell you is this. Good stewardship means that you don't spend what you don't have. And so we want to make a covenant with you that we are prioritizing these projects. You can kind of see how they're numbered, boom, 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 boom. We are not going to do anything unless the money comes in. And we're trusting God that it will because we think that He has really given us this vision. The total package is about $235,000. It seems like a lot of money, and it is. And it's going to take sacrifice. Yes, it will. But I want to ask you as your pastor to dream with me, to think seriously about what God can do. Now, I know there could be other things that we could do too, but we've chosen a couple. We've chosen a few. I'm hoping that maybe 5 years from now, we'll have another huge dream. And we'll have another idea that will just be off. It's not even on our grid yet, but God is going to allow us to see where we might have a greater impact for ministry to people who don't yet know Jesus. And so I want to invite you to prayerfully consider giving a sacrificial donation to this. Now, you can give it weekly, monthly. You can make it a one-time deal. Some people say, well, can I make a pledge for this year? And I'm not sure about next year yet. And say, yeah, that's fine, sure, I mean, we never want to close the doors on that. I'll tell you one more thing, okay? This is a little funny thing, but if you've got two of you that are making this decision in your household, lean toward the generous person. Okay? Let them stretch you, because this is really an issue of faith. It's not about what we can afford. It's about what we believe God could do. What God could do if we would say, I'm willing to be a conduit. You say, God, I don't have the money yet, but I would love to give a couple $1,000s to this thing. So open my eyes, help me to see how I could do that, even though I don't have it right now. It's a faith pledge. And we're not gonna, send this great big guy to your door if you don't, follow through, right? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to say, This is between you and God, and if you, in faith, believe that God can, I believe He will. I believe He will. So I just want you to pray with me that God would give us all a vision, not just for projects like this, but for having a heart like Jesus' heart that wants to do what we can see in front of us that God is leading us to reach more people, to connect with them, to show them that God loves them through us. All right? So I'm going to pray, and I think that we've got some work.